All right. Hopefully it killed off the music. Welcome everyone to the El Toro La Liga show. I also have to adjust the thing below because it's not actually Charlie that's coming on. But big up to everyone. Let me just quickly adjust. Yeah, big up, as I said, to everyone for joining my La Liga show. Obviously, going to be talking about the La Liga games for the midweek, actually, because they're all midweek games, and we have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night games in La Liga. So we're definitely going to get a look into those sort of games. And actually, already 5 people watching. So big up to everyone that's already joined the stream. Obviously, as I said, please do hit the like button on the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and we might as well get started with the first game of the midweek, which we have here. We do have is Espanyol against Valencia. Now, obviously, both of these sides in very indifferent form at the moment. Espanyol just lost to Real Madrid 2-0 at the Bernabeu, but almost everyone has lost to Madrid so far this season. Valencia, despite losing 6-0 to Barcelona, but they always lose to Barcelona. They did beat Athletic Club 2-0 at home during the weekend. So we have a 42% Espanyol win, 30% draw, and 28% Valencia win. Now, as I said, both teams have been okay-ish. I'll be honest. Espanyol currently in 4th, so they're technically in the Champions League places at the moment, albeit I think that won't last long, I'll be honest, especially when the games do get a little bit more tougher, not just the Madrid game they played. Valencia, meanwhile, apart from that 6-0 loss, to Barcelona, about 10 days ago or whatever, they only conceded 2 goals. If you want to discredit that 6-0 loss, but they always lose to Barcelona. So, look, I think it's been an okay start for Valencia this season. Well, actually, both teams, I'll be honest. So, some match stats heading into the game. Espanyol haven't lost any of the last 6 games against Valencia, although they have drawn in the last 5, and that one being a win, actually. Valencia have collected points in the last 4 away matches against Espanyol, a win and 3 draws. And they've not gone unbeaten against Espanyol in 5 consecutive visits ever. So something to look out for. Valencia have scored in each of the last 8 La Liga matches against Espanyol, that's being 11 goals. So they have a pretty good scoring run against Espanyol. Espanyol have drawn their last 5 Tuesday La Liga matches, the longest run of consecutive draws on a Tuesday, not on a Thursday. Maybe they'll prepare for Tuesday night football next season. Who knows? And finally, Espanyol have won their last 4 home games in La Liga and haven't won 5 in a row since 2018. So I'll be honest, right? Espanyol have started the season very well at home. I'll be honest, a little bit unexpected from me. This game's obviously going to be happening in about 4 hours from now, 7 p.m. Spain time. And I don't think they'll go with the win here. I will go with a draw. I'll go 1-1. 1-1 draw is my prediction for this game. And also at the same time as that game, we do have is Athletic Club against Girona. Now, obviously, both these sides not had a great weekend. Obviously, Athletic Club, as I said, just lost to Valencia and have now gone, I believe, 3 consecutive games without scoring, whereas Girona, they lost 4-0 at home to Levante and a complete capitulation of their team. So not looking good for Girona. 67% Athletic Club win, 20% for a draw, and only 13% for a Girona win. Athletic Club, yeah, back-to-back losses, not great, and obviously lost last week, midweek in the Champions League to Arsenal. So they need to start scoring again. They've only scored 6 goals, actually. So it's not been that all convincing scoring-wise. As for Girona, they've already conceded the most amount of goals in 5 games. They concede at least 3 goals a game in the last 5, and they're only on 1 point, winless as well. But yeah, I'll be honest, right? Even if you look at the match stats, following the 3-0 win at home last season, Athletic Club couldn't go back-to-back against Girona for the second time ever. Girona have lost 4 of the last 5 away matches against Athletic Club. The last time they did it was the season before they finished in the top 4. Girona have not kept a clean sheet in the last 5 visits. Look, all the match stats, I'll be honest, are pointing towards Athletic Club victory. And I'll be honest, I will definitely go for that. Girona, obviously, 2 red cards in their game against Levante at home. Very bad 4-0 loss for them. I'll go with a 3-0 win. I think Athletic Club will turn up the heat here and beat Girona. I'll say 3-0 later tonight or in the evening, actually. Next up we have is Sevilla against Villarreal. Obviously, both of these sides are, trying to get their season up and running. And so in terms of the probability of 31%, 28% for a draw, and 41% for Villarreal win. As I said, Villarreal, they finally got a win after not having the best of weeks, I would say, losing back-to-back games against Atleti and Tottenham in the Champions League, but they did get the win over the weekend. As for Sevilla, they did beat Alavés away, so that's a really impressive result for Sevilla. Even though people have been saying that they might get relegated. I didn't say they'll get relegated, but some people were saying still very early in the season, I'll be honest. But Sevilla have punched above their weight, I'll be honest. Sevilla have lost the last 3 La Liga matches against Villarreal, the longest ever run of consecutive defeats against them. Villarreal have collected points in 6 of the last 9 away matches against Sevilla, 2 wins, 4 draws, 3 losses. Sevilla have scored in each of the last 8 La Liga matches against Villarreal, the longest ever scoring streak against them in La Liga. Sevilla have not lost a home game on a Tuesday, and they have scored in each of the last 13, that being 28 goals. Sevilla have picked up points in 7 of the last 9 available games in La Liga. So I'll be honest, they've actually done all right since the season has started. This game's at 9:30 p.m. tonight, and I'll go with a draw. I'll go 2-2. 2-2 draw is my prediction. A 2-2 draw is my prediction. And at the same time as well, later tonight, we do have is Levante against Real Madrid. Let's also go through some of the chat as well. Sebastian, big up. Bilbao to win 3-0. Sevilla playing like a team, not one man. That's why I think not one man, and that's why I think they'll win this game. Yeah, potentially. But yeah, we do have here is Levante against Real Madrid later tonight as well, at the same time as the Sevilla-Villarreal game. Now, Levante, huge win, the first win of the season, a 4-0 trashing of Girona during the midweek game, or over the weekend actually. Real Madrid got their win against, who was it? Espanyol at the Bernabeu. 11% for Levante win, 16% for a draw, 73% for Real Madrid win. And Real Madrid have started the season, look, not super convincing, but they have won every single game so far this season. So far, so good for Real Madrid, top of the table at the moment. Meanwhile, you kind of have to scroll a little bit down to see Levante are in 16th, but unbeaten in the past 2 games. So they finally picked up form since returning from the international break. So maybe a good omen. Who knows? Some match stats. Levante have won 3 of the last 8 La Liga matches against Real Madrid, alongside a draw and 4 losses, one more than the last 24 against them. Real Madrid have only won 2 of the last 5 La Liga away games against Levante. So actually, Real Madrid don't have a good record against Levante. So maybe this is where Real Madrid drop points. Who knows? Levante have lost 11 of the last 16 home games against Real Madrid, having suffered the most home defeats against them than any other team in La Liga. Real Madrid have only lost 3 of the last 13 away games played on Tuesday in La Liga history, 4 wins, 6 draws, and the last 3 being a few losses in the past 7 years. Levante have scored in the last 10 home games in La Liga, 21 goals in total. So they actually have a very good scoring record on Tuesday at home. Prediction, you could say this could be a potential banana skin for Real Madrid, but I'll go with a narrow win here. I'll go 3-2 Real Madrid. I think it will be a tight affair tonight. I am looking forward to this game, actually. Levante, Real Madrid. I'll say 3-2. It could be a game of the week, midweek. I'll be honest. That's my prediction, 3-2 Real Madrid. Right. Obviously, next up we do have is Getafe against Alavés. Now, obviously, both teams losing over the weekend, which is obviously not great. But Getafe losing away at Barcelona 3-0. But I mean, it's Getafe. I mean, Alavés, they lost at home to Sevilla, the team that I've been kind of hyping up a little bit on for some reason. Getafe 41% win, 33% for a draw, 26% Alavés win. That's how it's looking at the moment. Both teams in and around like 8th, 9th, 10th at the moment. Not bad, not great. I think that's pretty much how you would sum up both of these teams, I'll be honest. Now, heading into this match on Wednesday, Getafe have won 3 of the last 4 La Liga matches against Alavés, though they lost 1 of them in that one. Alavés have not won any of the last 8 La Liga away matches against Getafe, 4 draws, 4 losses, so they actually don't have a good record against them. Getafe have won the last 2 La Liga matches against Alavés, the first time they have gone back-to-back against them. Getafe have lost the last 4 Wednesday La Liga matches and have never gone 5 consecutive defeats in that day. Albeit that will now be pointing towards a Getafe win, probably. Getafe have won 9 of the last 12 and lost 12 of the last 21 La Liga matches. The longest without a draw. I'll be honest, I could see this being just a narrow win again, and I'm going with a pretty boring 1-0 win for Getafe. I just think that maybe they'll just get something over the line, Getafe. I'll say 1-0 Getafe is my prediction. All right, next up as well on Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m., we do have is Real Sociedad against Mallorca. Both teams haven't won a game this season after 5 games. Win probability 53%, Sociedad win, 27% for a draw, 20% Mallorca win. As I said, both teams, you have to kind of scroll all the way down because both of them are in the relegation zone at the moment heading into the midweek game. Both have yet to win a game on the same record, more or less, basically. But yeah, both teams really poor start to the season, really poor, and that's why they're in the relegation zone. Sociedad have won 10 of the last 11 home games against Mallorca in La Liga since 2004-05. The only time they've lost was actually last season, believe it or not. Mallorca have won the last 2 La Liga matches against Sociedad and could go 3 consecutive wins in the top flight for the first time doing that. Mallorca have not drawn any of the last 18 La Liga matches at Anoeta, the stadium of Sociedad, since 93-94. So you are probably expecting there to be a win for somebody. Sociedad have failed to win any of the first 5 La Liga matches in the season for the 7th time. The first time since 2006-07 when they were relegated. And finally, Mallorca haven't won any of the last first 5 La Liga matches in the season for the 2nd time, that being 83-84, when they were also relegated. So both teams looking like, by that stat, looking like they're going to get relegated, but there will be a winner, I feel like, and I will back the home side. I'll say 2-1 Real Sociedad is my prediction. 2-1 Real Sociedad. That'll be my prediction. Next up, we have... Let me zoom in here. Next up, we do have here is Atlético Madrid against Rayo Vallecano. Now, obviously, Atleti, really, really disappointing performance against Mallorca. They drew 1-1. Vallecano, also kind of disappointing. They drew 1-1 against Celta. Well, shit. But yeah, both teams heading into this game off the back of a draw each. Atletico, 64% win, 21% for a draw, and 15% for Vallecano win. Now, obviously, both teams in and around 12th, 13th, 14th. Yeah, not a good start. Only 1 win each in the first 5 games, so not great at all. Rayo Vallecano haven't won since the opening game of the season, basically, against Girona. But yeah, Atletico haven't lost any of the last 16 matches against Rayo Vallecano in La Liga. 13 wins, 3 draws, so they have a really good record against the team. Obviously, this is technically a Madrid derby, Vallecas and Barajas, because that's the area that Atleti or the stadium is at. Rayo Vallecano have lost 10 of the last 11 away games against Atletico Madrid in La Liga, that being a draw. The last time they won there was actually in 1999 under Juan de Ramos, Tottenham manager way back in the day. Atletico have lost 2 of the last 4 La Liga derbies, and obviously on Saturday, we'll preview it. They do have the Madrid derby against Real Madrid, so this is a little bit of a prep for them. And finally, Rayo Vallecano have lost 5 of the last 7 Wednesday derbies in La Liga against Madrid clubs. So yeah, not a good record overall. And finally, Atletico have only picked up 6 points in the first 5 games, the lowest tally since 9-10. And obviously, this is the lowest they picked up with Diego Simeone. Prediction for this game, I do think Atleti will come back and really invigorate themselves, getting themselves ready for the derby. And I'm going with a 2-0 home win. A 2-0 home win for Atleti is my prediction for the game. 2 more games to go, and both on a Thursday, as you can see. First off, we have is Osasuna against Elche. 7 people watching as well. Please do hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. But yeah, Osasuna against Elche in La Liga. Obviously, both sides pretty okay. I would say Osasuna win, loss so far this season. I think, well, they lost the last game, so technically it's loss, win, loss. Elche, meanwhile, are actually unbeaten, believe it or not. 48% Osasuna win, 29% for draw, 23% Elche win. As I said, Elche are currently 5th. They're currently in the European places. 2 wins, 3 draws, 0 losses. The only thing is that their 2 wins were against Levante, who got promoted, and Oviedo, who also got promoted. So if you want to take that into account, Elche haven't really beaten any established team in La Liga. They beat the 2 teams that they went up with. So I'll be honest, look, you play what you will, I would say. But good start to the season for them. Meanwhile, Osasuna, as I said, loss. Obviously, they lost to Villarreal over the weekend. at the Ceramica. Now, some match stats heading into the game on Thursday. Osasuna have not lost any of the last 12 La Liga matches against Elche, 4 wins, 8 draws. So you could probably expect there to be a draw in this game, I'll be honest. Elche have only won 1 of the last 9 away games against Osasuna in La Liga, alongside 3 draws and 5 losses. And Osasuna have scored in every one of the 9 home games against Elche in La Liga, the highest record of 100% record, which is a really good record they have. Osasuna have won 5 of the last 6 home games in La Liga that's played on a Thursday, alongside 1 loss. Meanwhile, Elche have never won a game away from home in La Liga, that being played on a Thursday, a draw and 3 losses. And finally, Osasuna have won each of the last 6 home games in La Liga, keeping a clean sheet in each of the last 5, the longest current run for a team without conceding at home. So I'll be honest, really good record for Osasuna, and I think it won't change. And Elche's unbeaten run this season, I think, will come to an end. And I will say Osasuna will win, and I'm going with a 2-1. I'll go 2-1 win for Osasuna. That'll be my prediction. Then the final game of the midweek on Thursday night at 9:30 p.m. we do have here is Real Oviedo against Barcelona. Now, obviously, this is a big game, obviously, for Oviedo. They've already hosted Real Madrid. They already hosted Sociedad. So now they're hosting Barcelona. So really good opening set of home games for the new club. Albeit they haven't been scoring a lot. Look, Oviedo, 9% to win, 14% for a draw, 77% for Barcelona win. Barcelona, obviously, unbeaten, and the only draw they picked up was against Rayo Vallecano, which I think they should have lost. But they are the top goal scorers in La Liga after 5 games with 16 goals. Meanwhile, Oviedo are the lowest goal scorers in La Liga with 1 goal. That being in their 1-0 win against Sociedad just before the international break. Even Girona have more goals than Oviedo. So you kind of, look, you have the lowest scoring team in La Liga against the highest scoring team in La Liga. So, yeah, lots of things not going in the favor of Oviedo. Real Oviedo have won 1-0 in the last La Liga match against Barcelona, believe it or not, back in 2001. They could go back-to-back since 1961 against them. So you never know. Barcelona have not lost 3 of the last 4 away games in La Liga against Oviedo. Or, as I said, that being that loss in May 2001. Real Oviedo have scored in each of the last 12 La Liga matches against Barcelona. The best scoring run against Barcelona ever. So, even though they don't score goals, they could score a goal in this game. So, who knows? Barcelona have won the last 6 Thursday La Liga matches alongside that game in the Champions League. I know. Okay, don't have to rub it in. Equaling the longest run of consecutive wins on that day in their entire history, that being from 1929 when La Liga actually started to 84, George Orwell. And Oviedo have lost 5 of the last 6 La Liga matches, winning 1, that being against Sociedad, but won the last one at home 1-0 against Sociedad. They haven't won 2 in a row since the year 2000, when they had a run of 7 wins, actually. Look, I'll be honest. Call me crazy, people. I'm going Real Oviedo 2, Barcelona 1 on Thursday night. Could you? I'm feeling this could be a shock. This could be the shock of the week. Who knows? But I will go 2-1 Real Oviedo as my prediction. Look, you never know. You never know in La Liga. You just never know. And then finally, let me just switch over. Now it is time to announce the El Toro de la Semana, the Bow of the Week, the best player of the week over the last game week, match day 5. And obviously, I know I only did 9 games because the Betis and Celta Vigo games was played before the international break, and both of them are playing in the Europa League this week. Hopefully, Celta lose their way at Stuttgart. Meanwhile, Forest are the ones visiting Betis. In terms of the best player of the week, I'll be honest, not many standout candidates, and I don't really want to go back to back Barcelona players. So I'll go with a player that did score in the game against Espanyol. Really good goal, and I don't know, right game. I'll be honest, he was okay. It's a defender, and I am going with Eder Militao. Eder Militao is the ball of the week, the best player of the week. Look, scored goal of the season. I'll be honest. Usually a goal you would think that Valverde would score, but he did score a very, very, very good goal in that game against Espanyol. So yeah, I'm going to go with Eder Militao as the best player of match day 5 in La Liga. All right, now let me just sort this little bit out. Obviously, talking about the Segunda. All right, I got prepared. Let's go. Segunda. Come on, switch over. All right, perfect. Now, the Segunda, obviously, review of game week 6. Obviously, I did do a live watch long of Deportivo. I may point. I did watch Deportivo La Coruña 4-0 winners against Huesca. Obviously, I did my show with Charlie, the La Piña Rosa, the Pig Pineapple show, whatever. Obviously, talking about Palermo and Deportivo. Obviously, Deportivo, if you want to know my thoughts on that game, just watch that. Also, other games over the weekend, you have Leonesa losing at home against Castellón, despite beating Santander like 4-2 the other week before. Andorra do have a club. Played against Miranda's 1-1 draw. Leganes got their first loss of the season at home against Las Palmas. Both teams that got relegated last season from La Liga. You have Almeria beating Sporting Gijón. So now Gijón have lost 3 games in a row. What a shock. Ceuta. I always call it Creta, but it's actually Ceuta. Ceuta beat Real Zaragoza 1-0, and it's not looking good for Zaragoza. Meanwhile, Albacete did surprise Valladolid. That's also Valladolid's first loss of the season. You had Eibar beating the B team of Real Sociedad. You had Cadiz beating Malaga away in an Andalusian derby. You had Racing Club Santander, who are known for bottling things, had a 2-goal lead with about 15 minutes to go, and they drew the game 2-2. Even Cordoba had a red card, and they still couldn't see out the victory, Santander. So they actually lost the top 2 spot now. And last night, you had Burgos drawing 1-1 against bottom side Granada. Yes, Granada are bottom of the Segunda. And obviously, have games over the weekend. You have Mirandes against Zaragoza on Friday night. You have Eibar against Deportivo La Coruña on Saturday. I predicted a 2-1 win for Deportivo, I think, in my show with Charlie. You have Santander playing against Andorra. You have Las Palmas against Almeria. You have Sociedad B team against Cordoba. You have Burgos against Malaga. And then you have Cadiz against Ceuta. And then and this one is actually a Castilla y León derby, Valladolid against Leonesa. So that's going to be a big game on Sunday. You have Sporting Gijón against Albacete. You have Huesca against Granada. And the game next Monday, that being Leganes against Castellón. Now, if you want to look at the table, I'm just getting it sorted here. Let's see the table. And then obviously we'll wrap up the show. Obviously, Deportivo La Coruña, we are currently first place in the Segunda. So far so good, but I don't want to get my hopes up just yet. I just said minimum top 6 playoffs. Cadiz in second, so they've overtaken Santander, who I've said bottled a 2-0 lead with 15 minutes to go. Valladolid still in 4th alongside Andorra, Las Palmas, and that's the top 6 at the moment. completing the top half of the table, you have Eibar and Huesca on 10 points. You have Burgos, Gijon on 9. You have Malaga as well in 11th. And then obviously you have Almeria, same as well, on 8 points. You then have a little bit of a surprise. You see Leganes are currently only on 7 points in 13th. You have Mirandes in 14th. Ceuta, so far out of the relegation zone, unbeaten in the last 3 games, so that's so far so good. Castellon on 5 points. Sociedad B team now have lost or not won a game since day one. You also have Albacete getting the first ever win of the season. Cordoba obviously picking up a very crucial point, even though they're still in the relegation zone, but still early days. Leonesa on 4 points, and then 2 surprising teams, you could say, at the bottom of the table. You have Zaragoza and Granada at the bottom 2, without a win, and I believe they're the only teams without a win. Zaragoza and Granada are without a win so far this season, so not great at all. But yeah, that basically wraps up the Segunda recap as well. Obviously, I'm doing, of course, another El Toro La Liga show on Friday, obviously about the game week 7 games and all that sort of stuff. So obviously, lots of games happening tonight, tomorrow, and Thursday night. And obviously with Europa League for Celta Vigo and Betis, we'll see how well they do. Hopefully Celta lose, as a Deportivo fan. But yeah, big up to everyone. Thank you guys so much for watching. I have to get going pretty soon. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. I'll see you guys when I do my show with Charlie, actually, on Thursday.